So I have been inspired to start up excuse me, to start up a channel, or I guess restart up the channel, by my uncle. I've been inspired by that man for years. And the very first video I'd like to add is of this car here, and tell you guys a brief history about it, of where it's been, how we have acquired it, and what's going to happen to it. So, November 2000, I was helping my uncle move with my best friend, and was helping to move some things into his new home. And as we're driving through the neighborhood, I saw this car that was for sale in someone's home in their driveway. So I stopped by, and the guy was asking $4,300 and some change. At 17 years old, obviously I didn't have the money. So I went to his house, and I gotten to know the guy for quite some time. I gotten to know him for quite some time, and I acquired the car April 20th, 2001. Don't ask me how I know these dates. And what ended up happening is I kept the car for some time. I drove it, enjoyed it as a teenager. It really got me into, I guess this car has got a lot of special features in my life, and it really got me into liking cars and messing with cars and tuning cars and doing all that. Everything started with this car here. Over some time, I gave it to my little brother Mouen. I gave it to him with a blown engine. I had 3 piston skirts that blew off, and he was able to recover the block, spend his own hard-earned money to work on this thing from since he was 16 years old until about 20. It took him some time to get this thing going, but he did, I'd say, 95% of the work himself, putting the engine together, the wiring, you name it, he did it all. This car has been, as you can see, it's been sitting for quite some time, and we have plan on resurrecting this thing. Well, I shouldn't call it resurrecting, because it actually runs. It runs really well. It just needs a few things to bring it back to life, like hoses. There's some cracked hoses and so on, right? Just to touch it up a little bit. Just recently put a battery in there. We're gonna attempt to start it. But again, this video is strictly to document this thing here for the future, so that my kids are able to see it, hopefully see the value of it, and the main intent is to build this in the memory or in the honor of my little brother, and to continue his legacy. This is one of a few things that I have left that are, I guess, that kind of represents him, right? We're gonna do our fullest, or I guess our the most that we can do to make sure that he's happy with it, and build it in a way that I do remember some of the parts and things that he wanted. Our intent is to purchase those again, or purchase them, and to recreate it again. I remember when he that's put up there with silicone. Yeah, he did that, and I remember I laughed hard, telling him that won't stay there. But 20 some odd years later, it's still here. That's amazing. It's actually 2021, and this car has not been in the street since 2002. So again, we'll document a bunch of stuff around this car here. We'll check it out. It's in great shape, to be honest, for what it is. But we will ensure again to make sure that this thing is in great operating or great. Oh boy, there's his intercooler that he wanted to put in there. He's got his service manual. Nice. He actually even had a fuel cell he intended to put in there. So also he's got those ZG fender flares. Oh God, I remember those conversations about those things, how much I tried not to help him with that project because I didn't think it would look good. But we'll rest assured, we'll definitely make sure to inquire those things or add them to the build. Over the years, you could see the headliners sagging, so it's something we definitely gotta work out or get put back together. I actually, a few years ago, this seat's not in place, but I just put it here because I had no other place for it. So some of you guys may know this, but it's a Del Sol seat. I was attempting to fit it in there, but yeah, this is the it's a 1982 280ZX turbo. For those of you guys who have or had this car, this is the one that has that annoying ding, lights are on, or fuel is low, doors open, it talks to you. You know, it's one of those Knight Rider themed builds, I guess. This is the passenger seat. Crazy story about it. I had a Sparco seat long time ago in a 240Z, or sorry, 240SX that I intended to do track days in. He actually loved that seat so much that he wanted it in this car. So long story short, he removed it out of my car, took it out, disconnected it from the rails and all that, and he took his driver's seat, destroyed it completely just to get the rails out so he can put my seat from the 240SX into this thing here. And ever since then, this car did not have a driver's seat because he worked on it, and again, he was really young, right? Still going to high school, has like a little side job or whatnot, like teenagers do. Ultimately, what he ended up doing is he took the passenger seat, which is this one, and he put the driver's side rails on it just to be able to move the car around. So the impressive piece here of this car is that it still has only, let me see if I can zoom in here, 95,000 miles. I bought this car, again, April 2001, with 92,000 miles only. So it'll give you a perspective of how much this thing has been driven over the years. But all the plastics are good. They look like they're in great shape. It's just this vinyl stuff here, and there's some obviously in the back. Some of you guys who have 280ZXs, it's a known problem with these things. Again, it's a great car. It'll help making sure that, again, it's one of many things we plan on doing, is to ensure that his legacy lives on. But piece by piece, bit by bit, I will ensure to document everything that we do to this thing over the next few years or so, or a few months hopefully, to make sure that we have this for our family to remember him. Even my kids who My son is a year and a half now. I want him to obviously be able to remember his uncle in many different ways, right? He has a lot of great attributes, a lot of good ethics and things behind it, right, that I have to teach my son about his uncle. But he absolutely loved cars, motorcycles, and dogs. It's just a guy thing, right? So this is one of the things that we again, we plan on ensuring that if he's up there, you know, looking down at us, I'm sure he would like it, or, you know, gives us a thumbs up. I do remember a bunch of things that he wanted to buy for this thing, and he wanted to put them on, obviously, in his way of styling the car. And we've talked a lot about cars and a lot about this thing here, what his plans were. So I will ensure, or I would hopefully would be able to create that or recreate that for him. It looks like there's a heater core problem here, and I did not know that. So here's the motor. As I said earlier, there's some hoses and things that need to be changed out. Some of you guys may be wondering why this is here. I have some water bottles just to ensure. There's one there, there's one there, and there's one here. For those of you who are storing cars, I found that someone actually told me this. I can't take the credit for it myself, but if you are storing a car, here's a good example. These are mothballs. Put them in a bottle, poke holes in it, and it will deter rodents away from the car so they don't chew up your wires and such. And put them in strategic locations, kind of like this, in different corners. And obviously this thing here has been sitting for ages and years. In fact, I had another vehicle that was sitting right next to it, literally side by side, door by door, and I did not do this to, and that thing got destroyed by rodents. When I moved here to this location, I'm sitting on an acre lot here, and my neighbors also got some acreage next door. I'm sure you can hear the chickens and ducks and whatnot out there with chicken feed and duck feed and all that stuff right there. You can only imagine that there are some rodents around. So unfortunately, that other car still needs some work. Nevertheless, I don't want to rant on. It's 13 minutes, but I do wanted to ensure that this car gets its justice and to start this build. But I do want it to we will be ordering BC coilovers for this thing, some tires. Don't really know what brand yet. We've got to do some research. I don't recall the tire brands and things have been, I don't recall the tires that he wanted, but you can only imagine in 10 some odd years or so, things have changed in the tire community and what's out there to be offered. But yeah, the most important piece is that this thing is running. It starts, I believe at least, right? We just got a battery for it. We'll make sure the fluids are good, and we'll start this project here shortly. The idea is to get this thing going, and we have a drive set up with a couple of friends and some family members in his honor for his birthday, for my brother's birthday. We will be traveling. Well, this thing here is in Citrus Heights, California, near the Sacramento area, Northern Cal, and The idea here is to drive down to the Bay Area, grab some people from there, and then head down to Pismo, where a good friend of ours is at. Take a drive down Highway 1, again in his honor. This is something that he's actually always talked about. Again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. To family members out there, years and years and years and years from now, if YouTube allows it to stay up. I love you guys, and we'll see you soon here in the next video. Have a good one.